The entire world was watching. For days, deep space telescopes and satellite arrays had tracked an enormous fleet of alien vessels approaching the solar system. The ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen, sleek and angular, humming, with an eerie blue glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. As they slipped past the orbit of Mars, panic rippled through Earth's governments and populations. It was the moment everyone had feared, and secretly hoped never to face. Lieutenant Sarah Chen sat in the command center of the United Earth Defense Force, her eyes locked on the streaming data. The atmosphere was tense. Scientists, military, officers, and politicians crowded the room waiting for the inevitable invasion. Yet the ships did not attack. Instead, as if swallowed by the red dust itself, the alien fleet simply vanished. "Where did they go?" murmured one of the analysts, his voice trembling with disbelief. Sarah's gaze flicked to the latest scans. The fleet's energy signatures blinked out completely, leaving no trace behind. It was as if they had never been there. Across the globe, millions held their breath. Had the aliens retreated? Or worse, was this some new kind of weapon? A threat that Earth's defenses had failed to detect? The Defense Force scrambled to send probes toward Mars, desperate for answers. Meanwhile, global leaders debated how to respond to the silent menace. Sarah's mind raced. She had trained for this moment for years, but nothing in her experience explained the sudden disappearance. She remembered the old stories, myths about the Red Planet. What if Mars held secrets far older and deeper than anyone imagined? As night fell over the vast desert plains of Nevada, Sarah stood alone outside the command center, staring at the sky where Mars gleamed bright and still. Her communicator beeped urgently. "Lieutenant Chen, you need to see this." Inside the command room, the chief scientist pointed to a glowing monitor. A new signal had been detected, a faint, repeating pattern originating from beneath Mars's surface. Sarah leaned forward, heart pounding. The pattern wasn't random noise, it was artificial, carefully coded. Her voice barely a whisper, she said, "It's a message." A sudden chill swept the room. For the first time since the fleet's arrival, hope flickered. Not that they had been defeated, but that the planet itself might be alive in ways no one had understood. "Prepare the reconnaissance drones," Sarah ordered. "We're going to find out what's waiting for us under that dust." Outside, the stars shone cold and distant. The silence around Mars was no longer empty. It was charged, expectant, and possibly dangerous. The world held its breath. What had the invaders encountered that made them disappear? And what was calling back from the depths of the Red Planet? Sarah knew one thing with certainty. Earth's story was about to change forever. The reconnaissance drone slipped silently through the thin Martian atmosphere, their sensors tuned to the faintest signs of life or technology beneath the crimson surface. On Earth, the world waited anxiously for their first transmissions. Lieutenant Sarah Chen and her team sat glued to the monitors at the Mars Operations Center, a specially constructed facility carved into the rocky outskirts of the Mojave Desert. The drones had been programmed for a single mission: discover what had stopped the Obreth fleet, and if it was still active. Minutes stretched like hours as the first images flickered on the screens. The drone's cameras revealed jagged cliffs and vast plains of rust-colored dust, but soon something unexpected appeared. Geometric shapes carved deep into the Martian soil. Rectangles, spirals, and repeating hexagons, arranged with an almost artistic precision that no natural process could produce. "Coordinates locked," Sarah said, voice steady but filled with wonder. "Send the second drone closer." As the second drone descended, its sensors detected faint energy readings, cold mechanical pulses, coming from beneath the formations. A buried structure lay beneath the surface, hidden for untold centuries. Suddenly, the feed wavered, static surged across the screen, then a whisper echoed faintly through the comm channel, a series of clicks and tones that sounded like a coded signal. "Is that a message?" Sarah asked, her pulse quickening. Her communications officer worked furiously to decode the signal. It repeated, growing stronger with every passing minute. Slowly, The team realized this was no random noise. It was artificial, deliberate, and possibly sent by whoever or whatever had stopped the Obreth. Could it be a trap? One of the military officers asked nervously. Sarah shook her head. We won't know until we find out. Against orders from some cautious officials, she made a bold decision. She proposed sending a manned expedition to Mars, a team of scientists, engineers, and military specialists, to investigate the underground structure firsthand. The proposal was approved with urgency. Within days, a small crew assembled aboard the Artemis Explorer, the most advanced interplanetary ship ever built. Sarah was named mission commander. As the ship lifted off, she looked back toward the blue-green dot of Earth, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. The journey to Mars was tense but uneventful. The red planet grew larger and larger, in the viewport until it filled the frame, a silent sentinel awaiting their arrival. The Artemis Explorer touched down near the ancient geometric formations. The crew donned their suits and began the slow trek toward the underground entrance. The surface was quiet, deceptively still. As they neared the largest hexagonal pattern, sensors detected a subtle vibration beneath their feet. The ground shifted, and to their astonishment, a hidden door slowly slid open, revealing a dark passage lit by a faint pale blue light. Inside, the air was cold and dry. The walls glistened with crystalline structures that pulsed softly, casting strange shadows. Sarah's breath caught. "We're not alone," she whispered. The team advanced cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the vast chamber beyond. Suddenly, a holographic figure flickered to life before them, a projection of an alien being, but unlike the intimidating Obreth fleet they expected. This entity's expression was calm, almost sorrowful. In perfect English, the figure spoke. "You have come far, humans, but this place is both a prison and a guardian. The fleet that approached your world did not vanish by chance. They were stopped by the mind mirror." The projection shimmered and vanished. A heavy silence settled over the team. "Mind mirror?" Sarah repeated. The message was clear. Whatever had halted the Obreth was no weapon of destruction. It was something far stranger, something that might hold the key to humanity's survival. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. The aliens were not defeated by force, but by something buried deep beneath Mars. Sarah knew the real journey was only just beginning. The air inside the cavern was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the soft hum of their equipment and the occasional echo of footsteps against the stone walls. Lieutenant Sarah Chen led her team deeper into the underground labyrinth, following the faint pulses of blue light that seemed to guide their way. The walls were covered in strange glowing symbols, a language unlike any human script. The alien projection's final words, "mind mirror," repeated in Sarah's mind, a riddle begging to be solved. After hours of careful exploration, the team entered a vast chamber at the heart of the structure. There, in the center, floated a holographic sphere rotating slowly, projecting images that shifted between star maps and complex neural networks. One of the scientists, Dr. Ravi Patel, stepped forward, scanning the sphere with his handheld device. "This technology is beyond anything we've seen. It's like a neural interface that can map consciousness itself." Suddenly, the sphere flickered and expanded, bathing the chamber in light. The walls began to pulse with energy as the hologram morphed into a panoramic vision. Sarah's team was shown scenes, the Obreth fleet approaching Mars, their massive ships descending through the atmosphere. Then, a strange event unfolded. One by one, the alien vessel's power systems faltered. The crews inside began convulsing, their minds trapped in some invisible web. The Obreth became frozen in place, locked in a shared mental paralysis. Sarah swallowed hard. It's like they were trapped inside their own minds. Or something was trapping their minds. Dr. Patel nodded. "A psychic trap. The mind mirror must be a defense mechanism, a system designed to capture invading consciousness and neutralize it." But what created it? Sarah wondered aloud. And why? Before anyone could answer, the chamber trembled. The holographic sphere expanded rapidly, then suddenly contracted and shattered into thousands of fragments, each vanishing like sparks in the air. The team braced themselves, but instead of danger, a soft vibration filled the chamber. Sarah's comm unit buzzed urgently. Back on Earth, the Defense Force had detected an energy spike coming from the Martian network. Then a more personal message arrived, an encoded transmission directly targeted at Sarah's neural implant, a technology she used to enhance her reaction times and cognitive processing. As she activated the message, a rush of images and sensations flooded her mind. Visions of alien thoughts intertwined with fragments of Earth's past. Ancient human art, music, laughter, and the complexity of human emotion. It was overwhelming, almost paralyzing. "Sarah, are you okay?" Dr. Patel's voice broke through the mental storm. Sarah blinked rapidly, shaking off the flood of foreign impressions. It's like the system is trying to communicate, not just with our technology but with my mind." The message wasn't just data, it was alive, sentient even. Sarah's heart pounded. Sarah's heart? The Obreth hadn't vanished by accident. They'd been stopped by something far more powerful than any weapon, a mental barrier, shaped by the very essence of human thought and feeling. "Whatever this mind mirror is," Sarah said, "it's connected to us, to humanity itself." Her team stared in awe and confusion. The question hung in the air. Was this ancient Martian system a protector, a prison, or something else entirely? And if it had stopped the invaders, what did it want from the humans who had triggered it? As the chamber's lights dimmed, Sarah felt a new resolve harden within her. This was no longer just a mission of defense, it was a mission to understand what made humans unique, and how that uniqueness might save the world. Back aboard the Artemis Explorer, Sarah sat alone in the dim glow of the ship's control room, her mind still reeling from the flood of images and sensations the Martian system had sent into her neural implant. The interface wasn't just transmitting data, it was reaching deep into her consciousness, entwining alien thought with human emotion. She blinked slowly, trying to sort through the chaos. Scientists on Earth had already begun analyzing the fragment of alien technology they had retrieved from Mars, but nothing prepared them for the realization that this device was more than a tool. It was a neural interface, a bridge designed to connect minds to communicate on a level beyond language or signals. Dr. Ravi Patel's voice crackled through the comlink. "Lieutenant Chen, preliminary scans show the device is attempting to establish a persistent connection with your neural implant. It's almost as if it's learning from you." Sarah swallowed hard. "Learning from me?" "Yes," Ravi replied. "This isn't a weapon. It's a living network, evolving through interaction. But it's affecting your brain activity. We're monitoring closely to make sure it doesn't overwhelm you." Sarah clenched her fists. The strange alien presence inside her mind was like a puzzle made of light and sound, whispering thoughts that felt both foreign and deeply familiar. It was as if the Martian system had been designed not to destroy invaders, but to understand them, or better yet, to be understood. Over the next few days, Sarah's team studied the neural interface in tandem with her unique reactions. They discovered something extraordinary. The system resonated with human emotion and abstract thought, particularly creativity and empathy. Dr. Maya Lin, a neuroscientist specializing in cognitive diversity, explained during a briefing. The Obreth were a hive mind species. Their thinking was uniform and rigid. But humans combine logic with emotion, art, and unpredictability. That might be what the mind mirror responds to. It's a defense mechanism built to detect and engage a species that thinks differently. Sarah stared at the screen displaying neural activity maps. "So, the aliens' minds were overwhelmed because they couldn't process our complexity?" "Exactly," Maya nodded. "Your brain's response to the interface triggers feedback loops the Obreth neural networks can't handle. They literally short-circuited." A ripple of disbelief spread through the team. It was not lasers or missiles that saved Earth. It was the unique way humans think and feel. That night, Sarah returned to the control room, feeling both exhausted and strangely connected to the alien presence within her. The voice she had heard before returned, this time clearer, more insistent. "Will you understand us?" it asked. She hesitated, then replied quietly, "I want to." As the days passed, the interface deepened its connection with Sarah's mind. She experienced moments of clarity and confusion, visions of the Obreth's homeworld, glimpses of their culture and the pain of their defeat. The alien presence wasn't hostile. It was curious. At the same time, Sarah began to notice subtle changes in her own thinking. Patterns emerged, ideas blending human creativity with alien logic. The interface seemed to be teaching her new ways to perceive reality. Her team watched, with a mixture of awe and concern as Sarah's neural patterns evolved beyond normal human limits. On Earth, news of the discovery stirred excitement and hope. The Martian system wasn't just a shield, it was a potential key to unlocking new frontiers of knowledge and empathy. But there were skeptics. Some feared the alien interface could manipulate human minds, or that the Obreth presence might be a hidden threat. Sarah understood their caution. Yet deep inside, she felt a growing conviction. This connection was the beginning of something profound. The mind mirror wasn't just a weapon or a prison, it was a mirror held up to humanity itself, reflecting both its greatest strengths and its deepest mysteries. And Sarah knew the next step was to find out what the mind mirror truly wanted, and if Earth was ready to answer. Back on Earth, the revelation from Mars ignited a wave of excitement and curiosity. Humanity was no longer just a target, it was a puzzle, a living key to an ancient defense network whose mechanisms relied on something far beyond technology. Lieutenant. Sarah Chen found herself at the center of a new kind of battle, a race to decode the mysterious language of the Martian mind mirror and unlock its secrets. The United Earth Defense Force quickly formed an unprecedented alliance of scientists, artists, philosophers, and neuroscientists. They dubbed it the Human Code Project. In sprawling labs and think tanks across the globe, teams studied the neural data from Sarah's implant and the alien technology. They found something remarkable. The mind mirror didn't merely react to raw intelligence. It resonated with the abstract, emotional, and creative elements unique to humanity. Dr. Maya Lin explained during one of the international broadcasts, "Logic alone isn't enough. It's the unpredictability of human emotion, our creativity, empathy, and even humor that creates complex cognitive patterns. These patterns confuse and disrupt the hive mind of the Obreth, effectively neutralizing their coordinated attacks." Sarah watched as composers, painters, dancers, and writers were invited to contribute. Their works transformed into data patterns that could be analyzed by the mind-mirror interface. Music became a weapon, not of destruction, but of connection. One breakthrough. A violin concerto performed by a young prodigy was translated into neural signals and tested against the interface. The response was immediate. Pulses of recognition and resonance flowed back through Sarah's implant stronger than ever. "It's learning from us," Sarah whispered during a briefing, awed. "The mind mirror is evolving." Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, fears and skepticism grew. Some questioned whether humanity was truly ready to engage with an alien consciousness so intimately intertwined with their own minds. "We're dealing with something ancient, powerful, and unpredictable," warned General Arlo Vega, commander of Earth's planetary defenses. "We cannot afford to be naive." Despite concerns, the Human Code Project pressed on. Sarah found herself not just a soldier, but a mediator between species, human and alien. Then, one evening during a late-night session, Sarah experienced something new. The alien presence sent a complex message, not a warning but an invitation. "Join us," it seemed to say, "to grow beyond war and fear, to evolve together." The words echoed in her mind, carrying a weight she hadn't expected. Could Earth rise to the challenge? Could humanity embrace the mind mirror, not as a weapon but as a guide? As Sarah pondered, her thoughts drifted to the O-breath, once fierce invaders, now silent prisoners of their own rigidity. It was their inability to adapt, to feel beyond their hive mind that doomed them. But humans, they thrived on change, on chaos, on emotion. The mind mirror recognized this, and through that recognition, it had chosen Earth. In a televised address, Sarah spoke directly to the world. Our greatest defense wasn't our weapons or technology. It was our humanity, our creativity, our emotions, our ability to think differently. The mind mirror didn't just stop the invaders, it reflected what makes us uniquely strong. The audience was silent, then erupted in applause. Earth was no longer just a planet to be conquered. It was a beacon, a mind that had changed the course of the stars. But the journey was far from over. Sarah knew the mind mirror's true purpose was still hidden, waiting to be discovered beneath the dust of Mars, and she was ready to uncover it. The Artemis explorer had returned to Mars, carrying a larger team of specialists, eager to unlock the next layer of the mind mirror's mysteries. The world watched as Lieutenant Sarah Chen once again stepped onto the dusty red surface, determination etched into every line of her face. This time, the mission was not just to observe or decode signals. It was to interact directly with the ancient Martian network. Back at the subterranean chamber where the holographic sphere had once glowed, Sarah's team deployed new equipment designed to interface with the alien system on a deeper level. Neural scanners, emotional analyzers, even art displays designed to provoke creativity were brought into play. The mind mirror was a living enigma, a test crafted by an ancient civilization whose intentions were slowly becoming clearer. It was more than a shield. It was a crucible meant to nurture intelligence through challenges that demanded growth beyond mere survival. The team discovered a series of mental puzzles encoded within the structure, trials designed to push human consciousness to its limits. One puzzle projected an illusion of infinite space, challenging their perceptions of reality. Another flooded their minds with emotions, from profound joy to crushing sorrow, forcing them to confront their own humanity. Sarah found herself at the center of these trials, her mind linked directly to the network through her neural implant. She felt the presence of countless ancient intelligences, echoes of Martian ancestors who had built the mind mirror as a gift, or perhaps a warning. Why create such a test? She wondered aloud during a briefing. Dr. Lin replied, "It's a way to prepare intelligent life for something greater, a way to evolve beyond conflict and fear." As Sarah navigated the mental labyrinth, she saw visions of Mars' distant past, a planet once thriving with life, culture, and advanced technology. But their civilization had faced extinction, and the mind mirror was their legacy, designed to ensure that any species reaching this level of awareness would be tested and strengthened. The trials were difficult, but humanity's strength lay in their resilience and creativity. Each challenge unlocked new patterns in Sarah's mind, expanding her perception of space, time, and consciousness. Outside the chamber, the team monitored her neural activity in awe. The boundaries between human and alien intelligence were beginning to blur. But with each success, a new question arose. What awaited beyond the mind mirror? What greater challenge or destiny was it preparing them for? Then, unexpectedly, the system presented a new message. A call for dialogue, an invitation for cooperation. Sarah felt the weight of the moment. This was no longer about defense or survival. It was an opportunity for connection. Back on Earth, the Human Code Project prepared to welcome this new phase. Leaders, thinkers, and artists united in hope and caution, ready to meet the challenge. Sarah returned from the trial chamber, her eyes shining with a mixture of exhaustion and wonder. "We're being invited to join something bigger," she said, quietly. "To become part of a network, a community of minds that stretches beyond our solar system." Her words ignited fresh determination. Mars was no longer a silent guardian, but a gateway to a new chapter for humanity. As the Artemis Explorer prepared for its next phase, Sarah stood beneath the stars, feeling the vastness of the cosmos and the fragile hope of peace. The lessons of Mars were clear. Evolution was not just physical, but mental and emotional, and the true test was only beginning. As the Artemis Explorer orbited Mars, its crew prepared to activate the final sequence embedded within the Mind Mirror's core. Months of painstaking research and delicate neural calibrations had brought them to this moment, the awakening of an ancient network designed to connect sentient minds across the stars. Lieutenant Sarah Chen sat at the command console, her neural implant humming softly. The alien interface had become a part of her, an extension of her consciousness. With every interaction, she felt more entwined with the Martian system and more aware of its vast, unfathomable intelligence. Ready for activation, she announced to the team. Dr. Maya Lin, monitoring the neural feedback, nodded. The interface is stable. The connection should extend beyond Mars, reaching out to other nodes scattered throughout the galaxy. Sarah took a deep breath and initiated the sequence. The chamber beneath the surface of Mars pulsed with energy as dormant crystals lit up, casting a shimmering web of light across the rocky walls. Suddenly, the holographic sphere reformed, larger and more intricate than before. It projected a map, a cosmic lattice of stars and pathways, each point glowing with promise. "This is the network," Sarah whispered. "A map of connections, a web of minds." As the system came alive, Sarah's thoughts intertwined with voices, not words but feelings and ideas transmitted directly to her consciousness. She sensed the presence of countless other beings, some like humans, others vastly different, all linked through the Mind Mirror's legacy. The Obreth fleet's failure now made sense. Their rigid hive mind could not penetrate the fluid, evolving nature of this network. It was a sanctuary for diversity, a refuge for minds that embraced complexity and change. Back on Earth, the news of the network's activation sent waves of hope and anxiety. Humanity stood on the threshold of becoming part of something far greater than itself, a cosmic community that transcended physical distance and language. Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to decode the network's protocols, learning how to send and receive messages in this new form of communication. One day, Sarah experienced a sudden influx of memories, not her own, but those of an alien species that had once flourished near a distant star. Their culture, their dreams, and their ultimate fate flashed through her mind like a vivid dream. It was a gift and a warning. "This network preserves the wisdom of countless civilizations," Sarah explained. "But it also carries the burden of their losses." The network was more than a tool. It was a living archive of evolution, resilience, and sacrifice. And Earth was now a part of it. As Sarah looked out from the Martian surface at the distant sun, she felt a profound connection to the stars, to the legacy of those who had built the Mind Mirror, and to the endless possibilities ahead. But with this connection came responsibility. The network would challenge humanity's assumptions and beliefs. It would test their unity and adaptability, yet it also offered hope, a chance to rise above fear and conflict, to grow as a species united by curiosity and compassion. Sarah knew that Earth's future was no longer solely in human hands. It was shared with a greater community, one that had waited patiently beneath the dust of Mars, ready to awaken. And as the stars gleamed overhead, Sarah whispered a promise to herself and to the world. "We will meet this future together." The network's activation sent ripples through the cosmos, a silent call that had awaited a species ready to listen. On Earth, across continents and oceans, people paused as the world seemed to hold its breath. Humanity had stepped beyond its solitary existence, reaching out into the vast web of interconnected minds that stretched across the stars. Lieutenant Sarah Chen stood once again on the Martian surface, gazing up at the endless night sky. The ancient red dust beneath her boots was no longer just a barren wasteland, but a gateway, a threshold between what had been and what was to come. The Artemis Explorer hummed quietly nearby, its systems linked seamlessly to the Mind Mirror's network. Inside the ship, Sarah's neural implant now pulsed with an ever-deepening connection to the cosmic archive, a bridge to voices and memories that transcended time and space. Sarah thought back to the Obreth, the invading fleet that had vanished near Mars. Their rigidity had doomed them, their inability to embrace complexity and emotion turning them into prisoners of their own minds. Humanity had won not by force but by the unpredictable, vibrant spark of creativity and empathy, qualities that the Mind Mirror recognized and preserved. Across Earth, the Human Code Project evolved into a global movement. Artists, scientists, philosophers, and everyday people contributed to this new era of connection. Music, poetry, and art were translated into neural codes and woven into the network's fabric, enriching the cosmic dialogue. But the network was more than a repository of knowledge and culture. It was a living entity, evolving, learning, and inviting humanity to grow alongside it. One evening, Sarah received a message unlike any before. It was a vision, a shared dream among the network's members, images of distant worlds blooming, with life, civilizations flourishing in harmony, and minds intertwined in peaceful collaboration. The message was clear. This was not an end point, but a beginning. Sarah shared the vision with her team and with leaders on Earth, inspiring hope and renewed purpose. The path ahead would not be easy. The network's vastness meant new challenges, questions about identity, unity, and what it truly meant to be human. But Sarah believed in humanity's capacity to adapt and thrive. As she stood under the Martian stars, a quiet determination filled her heart. The Mind Mirror had been a test not just of strength, but of spirit. And humanity had passed. The universe was no longer a cold, distant place. It was a home, a place where minds could meet, learn, and grow beyond the limits of flesh and fear. Sarah's voice was steady as she addressed her team one last time on Mars. This is our new dawn. Together we will explore, create, and connect in ways we have only dreamed of. The stars are not our enemies. They are our neighbors, and we are ready to greet them. The crew nodded, their faces reflecting the dawn light creeping over the Martian horizon. Far away, on Earth, millions watched as humanity's story entered a new chapter, one written in the language of connection, resilience, and hope. And, beneath the red dust of Mars, the ancient Mind Mirror shimmered softly, its purpose fulfilled at last. The invaders had vanished, but humanity had awakened. The stars awaited.